In this edition of Careers That Matter, I'm joined by Raul Allueva, who is the Chief Administrator at the City of Coquitlam. You get to pull back the curtain a little bit for us right now and give us an idea of what life is like within local government, running what is like a corporation, because I can't imagine what it's like. Tell me a little bit about what your roles and responsibilities are as Chief Administrator of the city.
Yeah, thank you, Stuart. I appreciate you having me on. It's an incredibly varied and exciting, job. Obviously, I support the mayor and council. I'm technically their only employee.
And you're the only employee for the council.
Technically, and then I run the entire administration below that. We've got a couple thousand employees. Our role obviously is we run a municipal corporation that supports about 160,000 people and thousands of businesses. We ensure that we meet all of their needs relative to our responsibilities as a municipal corporation. Just provide safe and secure. There's policing and fire. Obviously, deliver water and sewers and roads, and then we also there's many things we do that we have to do, and there's some things we do that we don't need to do. But things like provide parks and open space, safety and security. Anything related to planning and development, such as issuing approvals for permitting and et cetera. So it's very, very broad and diverse.
Wow, how many different departments are there?
Well, I've got probably 15 or 16 different areas and I've got a deputy CAO, which manages 5 or 6 different areas. I've got 6 other general managers that run everything from engineering and public works, community safety, parks, recreation and culture, corporate services, planning and development, and then we've got other areas that including economic development and legal and our clerks.
There's accounting and finance must be
accounting
in there
and finance
too.
As well. Yep, finance.
Wow.
And under our deputy CAO, Michelle Hunt. So there's all sorts of areas that we have that, we all work together, obviously in my executive team to support our Mayor Richard Stewart and our council.
How many employees are there in the city?
It's about 2,000 employees. Yeah,
you're running a corporation.
Yeah, we are. It's a very large municipal corporation.
Well, what does a day look like for you?
It depends on the day, and if it's a council day, it's typically would involve a number of early staff meetings to coordinate ourselves. We meet with the mayor to make sure that the agendas are all, that anything we could need to anticipate or react to, and then we go into council, and we have council meetings throughout the day. And often those do run through the day. There's a variety of both council and committee meetings that are open to the public. There's some in-camera meetings as well that are necessary, need to be closed under statutory requirements under our local government, but whether they're just legal issues we have to talk about, or human resource issues, or other type of financial issues that are our own kind of issues we have to deal with. And then there's the open meetings in the evening, which are the regular council meetings. On a non-council day, I'll probably have 10 or 15 meetings with staff and various senior leaders. We have our executive team. We have to meet and coordinate, as well as our general managers that we strategize. And then there's it's soup to nuts, Stuart. It's a pretty busy day.
You're going to have long days, huh?
I try not to make them too long. It's important that we're balanced. I've always been a big believer. I like to take my daughter to school, and so I don't like to start before 9 o'clock. And that's, as a rule, I've always set that rule because I want to see my daughter grow up. So there's some lines you have to draw. But obviously, we've got responsibilities that bleed out into the rest of your day at times. Certainly on my email, sometimes in the evening, have some things on the weekend. It happens, but our council and our mayor and our city is very, very supportive. Of flexibility that we need, and so that's part of being a very good workplace. We're one of the top employers, Coquitlam is, for many years running now, recognized, and those are the kind of things that I think we find are really supportive of our staff teams.
Okay, so let's go back in your career here. Where'd you go to high school?
I, w- I went to high school in Sir Winston Churchill Secondary School, actually. We were
That's in Vancouver,
It's
isn't
in
it?
Vancouver. It's on the west side.
Yeah.
I actually grew up on the east side, but my older brother went to Churchill. He was academically very good, and so my other brother and myself followed him. So we ended up going to the west side, built some good relationships there, and then I went to UBC after high school.
So you leave high school, go to UBC. What did you study?
I went to Langara first, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and funny, I really enjoyed. I was very diverse. I started in commerce, didn't really like it all that much. I went into a whole range of other things, history and Latin studies and geography, and I really enjoyed geography, the urban geography side of things, and that led me to urban planning, which ended up being my career.
So you studied urban planning at
UBC as well. I got my master's degree there at the School of Community Regional Planning at UBC.
Wow. And so you graduate, and where'd you go to work?
You know what? I went to work went to the island, actually. I was a planner. I started my career as a planner in the district of Saanich back in 1990. I went over there as a summer student. Really enjoyed the work. Went back after my second year of my studies the following year, and then I just stayed for 5 years.
Wow.
Ended up being worked my way through as a planner. I was a community planner. Had a number of areas. This is back in the early 90s. So, but I did like Royal Oak area and Tillicum. I was a planner in some of those areas there, and just around north of Victoria.
Wow.
Yeah, and then came over to Surrey after that and was a planner there for 15 years.
Were you advancing in your career then, the positions and
yes.
responsibilities that you had?
Yes. So I started as a planner in Surrey in 1995. I ended up working my way through as the manager of current planning there. I did a stint in Richmond for about a year and a half, but I was a manager, a fairly senior manager at that point, and then I did transition in 2010 to the city of Coquitlam when I took a role as the manager of development services. Which really was all of the development planning side, development servicing and development planning, all of the rezonings, development permits, subdivisions, all of that.
And at what point did you graduate to your current position?
You know, it's a funny thing. I have to credit my previous boss, Peter Steblin, who was the city manager at the time. And he asked me about 4 years into my career in Coquitlam, he asked me to take on the role of general manager of Parks, Recreation, and Culture. And, I said, Pete, say what? Pete is a very, very astute person. He just said, I think you can do it. And I, to be honest, I still say to this day, it could be my favorite job. I'm not going to say I don't like the job I'm doing. I love the job I do now. But yeah, that was an immense experience. I was the general manager of Parks, Recreation, and Culture for about 4 years, and really had a great time. We transitioned the department, created a really good team, and really we advanced the Parks, Recreation, Culture Master Plan, which I think laid the groundwork for a lot of great things that came later and that are still coming. So it was a really proud moment for our team and a brand new experience for me. And doors open sometimes, Stu. And you just got to walk through them. You just got to walk through them, even though your better instinct says, well, I don't know, right? I don't know if that's going to be up my alley. So, but I walked through that door and it was a great experience.
You like what you do, don't you?
Oh yeah, I love it. From there I became deputy city manager, and then now the role that I have is a city administrator. But people don't. I think when people hear about local government, working for cities, the first thought is, who wants a career at 30 years of. It's incredible. Local governments these days are nimble, diverse, innovative. We do incredible things. We're fast-paced. We're incredibly rewarding. We have challenges that are far beyond what I think was traditionally a local government's role. We're constantly being asked to push things, to do things that are, and balance things that really, in many ways, it's incredibly challenging and. I think so exciting, and I don't know if I could have really written up a career this kind of interesting and exciting. When I started my career as a planner, but just kept trying to do a good job of whatever I did, and eventually leads you somewhere, right?
So what would you say is one of your personal attributes that you think has played a role in helping you to advance in your career and continue to grow?
Yeah, I always tell people, sometimes people are looking too far, I like to say when you're looking too far ahead, you're going to trip on the stones right in front of you. Like, do your job that's immediately in front of you well. Do it well. And that leads you to the next job, and you do that well. And don't look too far ahead. I find at times people look too far ahead, and then they're dissonance with the things that are immediately challenging them, right? And those things are the ones that are going to get you to being a better and well-rounded professional. Don't look too far ahead. One step at a time. And there's many things that I think, I think being a very personable person that, is intuitive on how to kind of support others. That's also really critical. But I would say, don't look too far ahead. Take it one step at a time. Don't trip over the rocks that are sit right by your feet. Keep an eye on those, and then just that'll take you somewhere. And just trust that process will take you somewhere where you're going to end.
How important is a willingness to work and enjoy your work?
Oh yeah, I mean, work ethic obviously is important, and everyone really needs to nurture their own work ethic. But I mean, I if you don't like what you do, it's tough, right? I mean, for me, I just feel really thankful and grateful that I'm in a career that I love. I love the diversity of it. I just love what I do, and that absolutely makes it so much easier, to go to work, get up early in the morning, and face the day, because there's exciting things ahead. There's good decisions to make. There's great teams to engage with. There's communities to build, and there's great things ahead of us. And so that absolutely makes it a really rewarding career. And that's, make sure try to love what you do, because if you do, the sky's the limit.
Fabulous. Thanks for giving us a glimpse into your current job and your career.
It's my pleasure, Stuart. Thank you for having me.